Hey, welcome back. Um, Going into squat day tomorrow. Kind of a new split. Well, the split's the same, but targeting more of that 8 rep range. You look back to April time period, I was doing 290 by 7, I think is the last recording I have on my channel. Now I'm doing 250 to 9. Significant cutback in weight. It's really because I was chasing a 1 rep max, which was, in hindsight, not the best thing for me to do. But you watch all these YouTubers and professional bodybuilders, and it's really like you see them going way past failure. The limitations I have with my home gym and the time that I work out, I'm probably in the garage from like 4:45 to 5:45. All the kids are asleep. They're right above the garage. My wife's asleep. If failure on squats, you toss the weight off your back. That makes a loud thump. Kids wake up, break the garage. Not something I want to do. So mentally, you really need to understand yourself to find the line between failure and control. And I think the first thing that I look at is my form. What starts to break down? I think the first thing is the knees caving. But like the bottom fourth of the squat, the knees will come up, cave in. And then fourth to a half, the knees push out, and half to the full, the knees are out. So that'll be the first thing that gives. Second thing that'll give is my back. I'll start using more posterior chain than quads. To a certain degree, it's okay. But if you're really doing, I do high bar squat, medium length apart, probably, shoulder width apart. Really trying to drive my knees over my toes to activate the quad. But if you're using the posterior chain, like do the quads even get hit anymore? Also, I focus on my breathing. Probably reps 1 through 4, I'll have a breath in between reps. 4 through 7, it'll be 2 breaths. And then 7 on, I'm just trying to calm myself down, really focusing on what I'm doing. So I'll take 3 or 4 breaths. And I've pushed myself hard before, but going into these workouts now, these squat workouts now, that's what I'm going to be really focusing on, to really find that line between failure and control. But like always, and here moving forward, I'll be recording my workouts, not only for myself. I do want my kids to get into this eventually. Like they'll be able to watch these as well for anybody else who's learning as we go. But mostly for myself. Since like 2020, I've been tracking my lifts, my weights, financials, really everything. And I like looking back on it. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity to do the same. And then if I can help some people on the way, that's great. Hopefully my kids as well. I'd really like them to get into this. And not like I didn't really know what I was doing for 5 years of my lifting career. I didn't eat healthy. I wasn't squatting. So my lifts all plateaued. Once I started squatting, my lifts skyrocketed. But I never had my diet on point until probably like a year and a half ago. I've been 155 for as long as I can remember. Really have a hard time consuming food. Year and a half ago, I made a very conscious effort to increase the calories. I'm at 173. Right now, I'm the most I've ever weighed, by like 15 pounds. I'm going to push this caloric surplus for another 6 to 8 weeks, probably like second half of February. And then I'll do a mini cut just to stay healthy, right? All the fat around the muscles, fat around the organs, cut that out. See the progress, and then push the weight again. But I'll record the squat tomorrow. Let's all see that line. I'll voice it over to see, what I'm thinking about as far as the knees, the backs, the form, the breaths. But yeah, we'll go from them. I'm gonna put this in front of my lower body activation work, and I'll voice over that as well. All right, see you tomorrow. Cheers. All right, this is my lower body activation. Do the day before squats. Coffee. What is this? 4:10 in the morning. I don't do pre-workout. I just use coffee. So start off with, what are these called? The fours. You internally rotate the hips. Just a lot of greasing the hips work. Deeper the squat, the better the hips are. Better the hips are, the deeper the squat. Then I'll move into the gluteus maximus. I try to pulsate. I don't know. Sometimes I hold, sometimes I pulsate. I pulsate closer to the actual workout. I hold when I'm doing it probably the 2 days before, or just like recovery afterwards. Switch sides, both sides. This one I learned from Squat University. I have a little bit of a left hip impingement. So I'll wrap the bar, pull this joint socket out. Really, I'm stretching out my SI joint here. I'm stretching out my hip. I'll pull the knee in, get that internal rotation. But something that I found to help me. Squat University, highly recommend the channel. Again, the pulsing motion, bringing the knee in, hitting it out. I think I move into hip openings. And this is really to correct my anterior pelvic tilt. So I'm tightening my glute, pushing the hip open. I'm pulsating again because it's closer to my workout. Afterwards, I will do holds, usually around 2 minutes. Everybody knows. If you know that reference, I'll link that chat. I think it's in one of my playlists on my channel. Shoulders. I'm getting a band to put around my knees. Work out that glute again for the anterior pelvic tilt correction. And I'll hold it for 2 minutes after workout. Before workout, I'll do that pulsating again. Really prime the muscle, prime the glutes. I do a couple glute priming workouts. This one specifically for the anterior pelvic tilt. A little bit later, you'll see one that is in the squat motion with the goblet, with the goblet squats with the kettlebell. Strengthening the core, do planks. Again, anterior pelvic tilt predominantly. Hold these for a minute. I think I'm pushing 1:15 nowadays. A little reverse. I don't even know what these are called, but these are a good stretch for the quad. I've seen people touch the back with their forearm. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. Side clamps. Again, from Squat University. Really just activating that glute. I think he says it works the bottom glute. I feel it in both. But I do both sides. Just to keep it even. This is that goblet squat with the kettlebell I was talking about. Again, another Squat University thing. These are great. I do the pause at the bottom, come up halfway, and these you feel these in your glutes like no other. I actually happen to feel them unevenly. Another imbalance that I have. But these are great pre-squat routine. This also really helps me keep my knees down on the squat. This is for my back. Keep the bar semi-straight. You'll see it when I squat tomorrow. The bar tilts down to the left, which doesn't really make sense for my shoulder imbalances. I would think it would go the other way, but... So these are the standard cobras. I'm sure you guys all know it. And then I do another variation where I try to pull my right shoulder up and pull my left shoulder back. And you just breathe into that shoulder and let your breath stretch the muscle. And then this is just correcting an imbalance. My left shoulder rolls forward. I go to push it back. Do it again. Pull the right shoulder up. Pull the left one back. And breathe into the back shoulder blade. Really, breathing is a great technique to stretch things that don't want to move. Breathe into the area. I think I'll do it 3 times. These are the one-legged twists. This is great for balance, hip mobility, hip balance. It's really a good workout for everything. Again, another Squat University one. But I think I do 7 reps on each side. In the past, I used to whip my leg open, really get that deep stretch. Now I'm just focusing more on balance, honestly. And then I'll walk weird to get that ankle mobility. Walk down, get additional ankle mobility. And then I'll do the other leg. It's much harder than it looks. Give it a try. Go over to Squat University's channel also. You'll see him teach it pretty well. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow.